Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September 10th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, NVDY, and MSTY. All right, so let's get right to it. So as far as trades are concerned, TSLY had a trade, NVDY had a bunch, and MSTY had a few. So first we'll start with TSLY. TSLY only had 2 transactions, pretty simple here. You see a BC under the type, that's the first thing you should really look at. That means buy to close, okay? So typically when you see the BC, it's going to be a buy to close on the call for the most part. Because right below it, you see the S, and they sold the call into the next week. All this means is they closed out their call that expired, their weekly call that expired this Friday already on a Monday, nonetheless. Because it costs so damn cheap. You see the price on the right, it costs 23 cents. So they decide to close it and then right away use those contracts and sell a call not only for this Friday, but for next Friday. I feel like they should have just done this Friday, to be honest. Maybe get more premium for their buck, right? But they chose next Friday. They got a good premium, $350. But they lowered the strike price, a lot to $230. So let's take a look at see how that looks like. All right, so if we go to the spreadsheets, here's the TSLY file. So they have 2 synthetics. They have a 225, which expires in 67 days. So not worth even mentioning because they didn't add to it. Same thing with this. This is a synthetic 230, expires in 67 days. Tesla next earnings I'm showing to be October 16th, by the way, which, believe it or not, is next month, so it's coming up. All right, so how did Tesla do yesterday? In the end, Tesla went up 2.63%. TSLY went up even more, 2.79%. So that's really good. How could that happen? Well, it's simply because they made a lot of money on the trade that they made yesterday. Obviously, they closed out the old. They had to pay money to do that. But when they opened the new trade, that brought in premium. That brought in cash, increasing the overall, net assets, which would increase the NAV, increasing the trade price. So let's take a look at the numbers. Zoom out. Got to get that annualized yield in there. All right, so what do we got? So they had a 242.50 that was left over, that was expiring this Friday. And again, today's only Tuesday. So yesterday was Monday, obviously, and they closed out the weekly calls on a Monday. They paid 23 cents, which was very cheap, and which only cost them $690,000. So in the end, they made about 8.7, almost 8.8 million, which is really good. That's really good money in a short time frame. So, no complaints there. The new position, though, way on the bottom, if I could show you that alone, 20,048 contracts, 230 strike price. It's only 6.35% out of the money. Normally, on a weekly for TSLY to see 6.35%, that's pretty good. But this is not a weekly. This is almost 2 weeks. This is about 9 days. So maybe this is an opportunity where they could have done the credit spread, right? Because you never know with Tesla. Tesla seemed to be, jumping up, although maybe they don't think that's the case. Maybe they think it's kind of at the point where it's going to balance out. I have no idea. But the annualized yield on that, it was actually only 53%. So it was within reason. I just don't know how I feel about that, because if Tesla was starting to recover, we still had, a lot of room to. It was 12.13% out of the money. And as time value went on and so forth, it would have been cheap to close, but obviously the sooner they closed it and opened the new one, they would get more time value and more premium on the new position. So I don't know. Good move, but I'm scared. What about the other position? 1,315 contracts, 230 strike price, same strike. So all eggs in one basket essentially now. But this one expires this Friday, 6.35% out of the money. I think that one's okay. Obviously, the other one's nearly 2 weeks out. Outstanding shares did go up 600K. That's a big jump. So, again, Tesla's still popular. 30-day IV, 60%. That's good IV for Tesla. Outstanding shares, 52,425,000. Net income, unfortunately, there's losses of 35 million, from up here. So what can you do? Hopefully they could turn that into actual income, but it's going to take some time. Reaction, I just put because I'm not sure about that 2-week expiration, 6% out of the money. Especially like last week, everything was just going down and the recovery is coming. It just feels like it's coming. I feel like maybe they could close it out, wait a day. I don't know. I don't know if they're allowed to do that, but that's just my thought. Anyway, although if Tesla goes down today, they're going to look like freaking geniuses. Synthetic income on this, 44.2 mil. That's pretty damn good. We know the short call loss, obviously. So the net income total is 9.2 mil. That comes to 18 cents per share so far. Can't use the Rotometer simply because it feeds off the weekly income per share. So we will just look at the IV. Based on the IV, we're looking at 63 cents. And obviously, don't go crazy with the estimates this early in the month because they don't really mean much. It'll make a little more sense as we get into the month a little further. All right, if we get to the holdings, we don't, the synthetics are in pink and orange. We don't need to talk about those. And then obviously we have 2 calls in blue with both 230. They're separate lines because they have separate expiration dates. So we'll see how it plays out. Total net assets of Tesla fund, 656 mil. The NAV is 1252 and the trade price is 1251. All right, who else had a trade? NVDY had a whole crap load. So they did another, so there's another BC here, except it's not a BC to close the weekly. Just so you know, the second line down, this is a BC to close the put, right? Buy to close the put. So if you see that, that's going to be the put from the synthetic. So basically they sold the call, BC'd the put on the synthetic. So they closed out 28,000 contracts from the 116 synthetic. And what they do, they use them and they move them to the 109. Okay. And what else did they do? Well, you see more BCs, but this time you see a C, which means they BC'd the call. They did a buy to close the call for the weekly, 913, and they sold a call, 920. Again, they're going into next week. So it was only Monday, and they're jumping into next week. Craziness, I know. Let's just take a look. Okay. All right, 116. So this is the 116 synthetic. They keep, little by little, they're chunking out. 19K on 9.5, 19K on 9.6, and now 28K on 9.9. They had to pay money. Obviously, they're not in a good position with this synthetic. They had to pay about 27 mil, which that's a lot of money. Just give me 1 mil. I'll be happy. All right, what do we got here? Well, this synthetic is expiring soon, so this is why they're piecemealing it out. Again, taking losses, maybe for tax purposes. Who the hell knows? But maybe they're trying something new. I don't know. 11 days left, though, for that one. So they moved it to the 109. If you look here, 28,000 contracts. They added it here. Did they make money? Yeah, they did. They made about like 5 mil, 6 mil around there. But why? Because they're still in the hole with this one, only 2.32%. And this one expires in 39 days, though. So this synthetic, I think, will be okay in the end if NVIDIA keeps recovering. Again, last week was horrible. This week is starting out right. But again, you never know. It's going to be crazy. I hear September is just a bad month. So let's not get too excited yet. All right, so NVIDIA did go up 3.54%. NVIDY went up 3.39%. And you'll notice as these underlyings are going up, the ETFs are going to go up just as much because they were way out of the money, which was nice. However, we're closing them out, so it's not going to be nice for long if these funds continue to recover. So let's see what they did here. Zoom out, zoom out. Come on. There we go. Look at that. All right. So what the hell did they do? All right. They closed out the 118. They closed out the 115. Okay, that's fine. They closed it for cheap. 8 cents, 17 cents. What'd they pay? Well, they paid basically what, 700,000, we'll call it. And you see the profit loss. Oh my God, that's so much. That's a lot of money, over $10 million. So good job, good job. That's a good weekly trade that they won. However, they're jumping right into the next one, and the next one expires in 9 trading days, essentially 2 weeks. 6% out of the money. Look, they chose a 113 strike. All contracts, 87,000 essentially. 113 strike, 6.13% out of the money. Man, oh man. But if you look at the annualized yield, it kind of makes sense. It's actually conservative. It's only 41%. Their IV is 54%. So, a 6%, who knows? If NVIDIA jumps up this whole week and they blow out of the water, then it is what it is, right? We're going to be miserable. But if NVIDIA kind of just goes up, down, all around, which is supposedly what September does, then it'll be okay. I don't know. Again, I'm scared when they do calls that are like 2 weeks out, this close to the money, because it'll limit our possible upside. But obviously, if they win, that's pretty good money. They're making what? What's the total? About 11, almost $12 million. So again, we'll see, man. It's just hard because there's so many days left already. I do like just the shorter term, but obviously, if they sold a call that expires this Friday, the premium more than likely was not there unless they probably went really, really close to the money. So outstanding shares did go up by 300,000. That's always good to see. 30-day IV, 54%. Outstanding shares, 41,125,000. Total net income from the weekly calls so far, 10.9 million. That's a distribution of 27 cents. Daily income, 5 cents a day. Daily yield, 0.25%. Annualized yield, 89%. So pretty good numbers. Pretty damn good numbers. Reaction is, he made the move and he's like, ooh, is it the right move? I don't know. We'll see. All right, so let's take a look at the numbers. Here's the data. Synthetic income, well, they're sitting on a loss for this month, 49 mil. So we will focus on the weekly call income, and that's 10.9 million. We mentioned that comes to 27 cents per share. Throw that in the Rotomator. It's going to look, well, it looks actually within reason, $1.49, which is an 82% yield. Compare that to the IV estimate, 55% IV, 99 cents. So obviously we like this estimate better. All right, so if we zoom out now, what do we got? We got synthetics. One expires on September 20th. They keep paying out their ass on that one, and they will continue. And then the other one expires October 18th. So we'll see how that goes. And now they just have all eggs in one basket. 113 strike expires next week. So nothing going on here. Nothing, no action unless we get new contracts. But we'll see how this goes. Obviously, that's good for me, like a little less work, but we'll see how it plays out. Total net assets, by the way, cash is negative 52 mil. I just noticed that. Total net assets, nowhere to be found, 1,889.8 mil. The NAV is 2164 and the trade price is 2167. So let's move on to the next trade, which is MSTY. MSTY is continuing to add more contracts. I love it. 400 contracts. They did a buy call, a sell put. That's adding to the synthetic position. And then right down below, they're using the contracts right away and they're selling a weekly call. And guess what? It's in this week. Beautiful thing. They're able to sell calls in the same week and produce a decent freaking premium because their IV is so damn good. And that's what I like about MSTY. It took me a while to fall in love with MSTY, but their IV has got me, I'm a sucker for IV. So here we go. Let's see what this looks like on the spreadsheet. Okay, we'll go here to MSTY, and they only have the one synthetic. It's a 139. They did add to it, so let's take a look at that. 400 contracts. They only paid $810 for the call. They got a $2270 credit for the put. So they got like 500 to 600K for that. This one expires in 39 days. Next earnings estimated to be October 29th, which would fall after the expiration of this synthetic. So we'll see what that looks like. That's kind of better off. And that way, when they open the new synthetic, it'll be hopefully way after the earnings, so it doesn't affect it too bad. All right, September. Oh, wow. Yeah, MSTR, unbelievable day. 9.2%. MSTY, unbelievable day. 7.66%. I mean, you can't complain with a 7.66% gain on these ETFs. Like, look at that appreciation. It was at 1907 on the close on Friday. It's at 2053 now. Wow, what a recovery. I mean, things were getting ugly. All right, so let's see what we're doing here. Let's zoom out a little, get everything in the picture. All right, we got the expiration date. We got the annualized yield. All right, so they added 400 contracts. Let's take a look at that first. Again, they chose a strike of 131. Expires this Friday. 4 trading days, 4.95% out of the money. Slightly aggressive, 144% annualized yield. Their IV is 84%. So they could have went a little further out of the money. I know it's only 400 contracts, so we won't go crazy, but you know, what a bit much. I don't know. Because crypto seems to be on a recovery, but who the hell knows, man? All right, so what about the outstanding contracts? They have 33,815 contracts, 132 strike, even higher than the other one they just did. This is still 5.75% out of the money. So this one, who knows if it's safe? Again, there was a big jump yesterday. Maybe there won't be as big a jump today, if at all. Maybe it'll go back down. I don't know. Again, 4 trading days, so we'll see how all this plays out. Outstanding shares did go up 175,000. So the trend is YieldMax still, their outstanding shares, at least the big 4 funds, they're growing, man. People aren't selling out to buy this, that, and the other thing. So again, the numbers are what they are. Of course, you know, recently was declaration date and then ex-dividend date. Those are probably the biggest buying days. But still, overall, you know, what I'm seeing is growth. And I'm not kissing YieldMax's ass, but it's kind of funny when people think YieldMax is done just because, you know, mainly Roundhill. They think Roundhill is taking them out. But, I mean, that's a small portion. People aren't really putting all their YieldMax money in Roundhill. People just using new money to use for Roundhill. You know, YieldMax is still really the GOAT in this space until proven otherwise. But anyway, 30-day IV, 84%. Outstanding shares, 21,925,000. And by the way, I love Roundhill. Don't get it confused. I'm a big fan of both. And I love Defiance. Total net income from the weeklies, 8.9 mil. Total distribution, 41 cents. Daily income, 8 cents a day. Daily yield, 0.4%. Annualized yield, 144.86%. Unbelievable numbers. Reaction, money. Keep making us money, MSTY. That's all we can ask for. All right, let's see if they're making us money. Synthetic income, not so much. They lost 3.1 million so far. Okay, whatever. Let's focus on the weekly call income. They have made us 8.9 mil. That's pretty good. That comes to 41 cents a share. All right, throw that in the Rotomator. What do we get? We get 228. That's 133% yield. Okay, probably a little unrealistic, so let's wait till later in the week when the true estimate numbers come in. Again, we kind of started the month right away with a trade, so it's going to show higher estimates because it thinks it makes a higher daily income than what it should. So as we get towards, like, say, Thursday, the Rotomator estimate should be a little more accurate. This is what we'll use for now. The IV estimate, 85% is the IV. That comes to about $1.45. What they pay last month, or what they pay yesterday, $1.85. By the way, happy payment day for yesterday. I didn't even get to say it, but I know a lot of you are super happy to get paid. It's really exciting. I know I was super happy. All right, so let's look at the holdings. So we got synthetics in pink and orange. They expire October 18th. Okay, whatever. We'll see how they play out. But the weeklies, these expire Friday, 4 days. So hopefully all works out. And then they have the total net assets, 448 mil. The NAV is 2047 and the trade price is 2053. Gotta take a sip of water. I'm losing my voice. Freaking office day today. Very annoying. Need to work from home full time. That's what I need. All right, so we have a synthetic 195 and a synthetic 175 for CONY. CONY didn't have any trades. So what does their synthetic look like? Well, their 195 is expiring in 39 days. Okay, so who cares, right? Their synthetic 175 expiring in 39 days. All right, who cares? Let's move on to September. So coin finally had a green day. It went up 5.23%. CONY finally had a green day. It went up 5.11%. CONY's been getting destroyed. But as you can see, at 5.11%, it's still $11. It's still, it's going to take a while. If it's going to have a chance to recover anywhere near its original launch price, it's going to take a long time. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see what crypto does. So let's take a look at the current plays heading into this week. Again, we got the credit call spreads, their latest strategy. Luckily, when I opened the trades yesterday, I'm not going to lie, I was getting scared. I thought I was going to see credit call spreads everywhere. So at least it wasn't obnoxiously used. So it was not used at all. So currently, I know it's used in other funds. I've seen a couple other funds use it. I think AMZ had it, Babo maybe, and maybe AMD, but whatever. So if we look at CONY, how do their normal weekly calls, just the weekly calls look? First, 12,100 contracts, 175 strike. That's 12.87% out of the money. 5,000 contracts, 167.50 strike. That's 8.03% out of the money. And then largest position, 16,505 contracts, 160 strike price, 3.19% out of the money. So their largest position is a little, it's getting a little close. As it approaches that, will their credit call, their call that they purchased that's out of the money, will that save them? Well, if it jumps above 6% after, then maybe, because there's a 6% gap in between the two numbers, $10 per share. So it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. But again, the whole point of this is if they blow through their calls this week, they are prepared to, to utilize those calls. Right now, these calls ain't worth a damn, right? Like, look at the top one, 19% of the money. If they sold that call, they wouldn't get crap, So unfortunately right now, no, they're useless. They're just going to expire worthless, right? We're not going to get money. We're not going to lose money. The money was already lost when we bought it, right? It's either we make money or nothing happens. So we'll see what the end result is, but we'll track them as well. Because again, coin has to be above those prices, or at least remotely close to it before Friday for these to be have any type of value for them to sell. And we'll get into the numbers in a second, but right now, they're useless, but we'll see. Outstanding shares, CONY. Yeah, man, there is a lot of CONY love. 500K worth. Another whale jumping in, say I'm all in. All right, 30-day IV, 72%. Outstanding shares, 42,325,000. Total net income, 4.1 mil. Distribution, 10 cents a share. Daily income, 2 cents a day. Daily yield, 0.16%. Annualized yield, 60%. Not bad. There's the credit call spread, just hanging out. All right, so synthetic income. Nope. All right, so let's look at the short call income. 4.1 mil, a whopping 10 cents a share. Rodemator says you'll get 55 cents, which is a 55% yield. Obviously, you're not going to be happy with that. IV is 72%. That comes to about 72 cents. Obviously, early in the month. Don't go crazy. All right. Now I'm really starting to lose my voice. Outstanding holdings. Look at the synthetic in pink and orange. They both expire October 18th. Everything in the middle, that mess. It's we have the calls, the weekly calls, the typical weekly calls, and then obviously the further out of the money calls that they purchased, which makes it a credit call spread. So will they have a point? Is this like the test round to see how it goes? I don't know. But again, they were way out of the money. I don't know at the time when they purchased how far they were, but again, we'll see. But what I did here down here, I added how much we paid for all of them, right? All three, how much we originally paid for them. And then I, basically I'm taking how much they're worth today to see what does this net us, right? So for the sake of this, obviously, I'm adding those first. Where do we go? Yeah, so I'm adding, if it's a positive amount here, which means we can make money off of it. So I'm subtracting what they paid for it, the debit from the other sheet, and it shows the current value. The current value means we would lose 617,000. So in the end, that's how much we would lose if they closed them out today. But again, if coin continues to go up like drastically, there could be, a day that they could close these out earlier and make a quick profit. But, it's there for the protection as they keep the weeklies open, I would think. So I would think they're going to do it all in one swoop. Again, I'm just putting this here for now as we learn the strategy here. But right now, they're useless. That's all I can say. Total net assets, 504 mil. The NAV is 1193 and the trade price is 1192. Okay, I'm almost done. Thank God, because my voice is dying on me. All right, what do we got here? So, this is as of 5:39 a.m. Tesla is up 0.61%. It's at 217.58. TSLY is up 0.72%. It's at 1260. NVDY is down 0.3%. It's at 106.15. NVDY is down 0.6%. It's at 21.54. Coin is kind of flat, but it's down 0.01%. It's at 155.04. CONY is up 0.59%, 11.99. MSTR is up 0.71%, 125.70. MSTY is up 0.24%. It's at 20.58. TSLL is up 1.03%. It's at 9.79. And yes, I did sell calls on them yesterday. TNA is down 0.83%. It's at 37.03. AMDY is not updating. AMZ is not updating. BTC is up 0.04%. It's at 57,147. So kind of flat. BitX is down, oddly enough, 0.21%. It's at 24.05. I sold 2 calls on them yesterday. One very close to the money. It actually made $101 on one trade, which is, I'm loving it. Loving options, man. I'm loving doing options on my own. I'm just getting closer and closer to just making the account a just full-blown options account. I don't want to do that because I'll do something stupid and lose all the money. But I'm baby stepping in there. I'm telling you that. I'm doing more and more options, using more and more of the money of, with me trading options versus the covered call ETFs. And as I continue to trust myself more and more, that'll continue to happen. But again, sometimes, not gonna lie, I get too aggressive and then the market could tank and I kind of screw myself. So you have to stick with your strategy, assuming your strategy works, and stick with the plan and don't overdo it. Don't be obnoxious and try to get the most income just for this week, just because you feel like it, because it'll screw you later on. But that's, as I'm learning, I owe you guys like an options video on the whiteboard showing you my strategy. I know I do. It's not easy. So I'll have to work on that when I get time. There's no time. There really isn't. I'm sorry. But we'll have to work a day. I might have to take like a vacation day to do that. But anyway, it's in the back of my mind. Believe me, I that would be an exciting video for me to do. So I can't wait to do that video. All right, guys. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, then what can I say? I'll try again tomorrow. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. Outside of that, I got nothing else except maybe a keyword. So it's been a while since I talked about, because I'm driving to the office today, talked about my commute. And I'm just curious what everyone's commute is. So today's keyword is really what your commute is. How long is your commute to work? Obviously, if you're retired, you can put 0, or you can mention your old commute. I know I already, this is old news. I asked a question like a month ago. But as I get new subscribers, it is fun to ask again, to see what different people's commute is. Like, how many days do you work from home? How many days do you go to the office? And what's your commute, right? I drive to the office 2 days a week. My commute is 1 hour, one way. So I'm driving, I'm on the road 2 hours each commute day. If there's no traffic, of course. So, does it suck? It was much worse when it was 5 days a week. But right now, once you have kids, you realize, okay, that's really the only peaceful time they have. Like, that's the quietest time I have in my car. Because obviously when I get to work is freaking nuts. So it's, I kind of enjoy it. Although, yes, it does suck in a way. Some days it's annoying, but some days it's really relaxing. But yeah, let me know in the comments below as the key word. If you want to prove you made it this far in the video, type in, how many days are you in the office, and what's your commute one way? Is it an hour? Is it 2 hours? Is it 10 minutes? Do you ride your bike to work? Are you unemployed? What's your job if you're unemployed, if you're retired? What do you do for your hobbies? I don't know. Let's get the convo going. All right, anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Let me save what's left of my voice for work. And I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later.